Hello, Tahira, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you. And you?
Yeah, I'm good. So, Tahira, actually, you don't need to really open the video. It's totally fine if I mean, that is up to you, but you don't really need it at the moment. So, I will just share with you the slides and then we can proceed from there.
All
Okay?
right.
Okay,
All right.
good. Yeah. So, okay. So, Tahira, you are living in Malaysia at the moment.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. How long you have been here in Malaysia?
I started my semester in the middle of April.
Oh, so
So
you're
since
just,
April.
yeah, so you're just new here.
Yes, my first
Okay.
time.
Oh, okay. And then how you find everything here so far?
Um, it's a bit overwhelming because I come from a very smaller country.
Uh-huh.
So coming here, everything is
Different.
fast-paced. Back
Uh-huh.
home, yeah, back home we're very chill and laid back. And when I came here, everybody is workaholic and moving fast.
Yeah, it's true. And the people here wake up so early, and I think, yeah, the rhythm of the life is slightly different, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So I think you will get accustomed to that. Sleeping early, waking up early, and yeah, it's not bad. Of course, KL is a bit overwhelming. I can understand that. So yeah, good luck in this. Take it easy first. Don't worry too much. I think it will be okay at the end. So Tahira, let me introduce you to a few things first before we talk about any programming, because you will
Okay.
need these techniques that I will tell you later. You might think now that it's not of benefit, but actually it is. These techniques that I'm going to explain to you will help you not only in programming but in other subjects, and also it will help you in the exam. So there is a technique that I will tell you that can help you in the exam, and then let us see how it goes from here. I can understand that if I can predict, because I mean, from the students that I have before, I think you didn't study computer science before, right? In the secondary school.
Um, I was in secondary. I did IGCSE for ICT, communication technology,
Ah, okay.
but we didn't go in depth with the things that other students have learned here. And when I went to college or post-secondary, I studied information system engineering. We
Hmm.
did touch on a few things, but the school's syllabus was more work focused than theory focused. So they were teaching us more on what we would be doing if we started working rather than going for further studies.
Okay. So here, many of my students, I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, I have students even from Africa, from South Africa. I still have students who even studying Java with me. I have, if I'm not mistaken, Mozambique. I have a student from Mozambique, and I also have a student from Nigeria. So, and I'm
Okay.
not limited to Malaysia only, but in general, and many of them were studying IGCSE, but not the ICT. They were studying the computer science, which means it's sometimes they call it O level, sometimes they give it the code 0478. So this
Mhm.
computer science have a mix of programming language and theoretical. And I think you choose a slightly different. The ICT is actually different, quite different, and maybe it doesn't really assist you a lot in the computer science studies like what you're taking now. But it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we there is nothing you need to regret of, because I mean that is the past already. So I think it's okay if you study what I'm telling you to study. I think things will be better. Definitely, because we have a closer exam, so we will do our best. But I think the higher chance is that we get you prepared for the final exam, which is the end of the semester, right? I mean, 6 weeks from now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just telling you so that you do not be worried too much. Typically, any theoretical knowledge, you can digest it in a little amount of time. Practical knowledge, it takes a little bit of time to be able to master it. So don't think bad that, I mean, so you need to give your brain time, okay? We will try our best here, and but you need to, I mean, you don't need to worry too much. This is the nature of the brain. We will try to accelerate things as much as we can. And let's see how it goes, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I will also go fast here on the techniques. I will not explain everything since we are actually we need to rush to make use of the time. So I would say, did you ever see a book index before, and you know how you can use a book index? You didn't ever come through a book index before?
Sorry?
Did you ever, I mean, are you able to hear me?
Yes, I can hear you just a little bit far away.
Oh, okay, little bit far away. What about now? Is it better now?
Yes, it's better now. Thank
Okay,
you.
okay. So I would say, did you ever see a book index before?
Yes,
What do we use it for?
to find specific information more quickly on different pages, especially
Excellent,
in big
Tahira.
books.
Excellent. Yes, excellent. Excellent answer. Okay, so yeah. Uh, Actually, in our brain, we have two pieces that is called hippocampus, and they act as a memory index. So there is an index in your brain that help indexing the information in your permanent memory, and you need that a lot. So why I'm teaching you that? Just only to pass you the information that you really need, but just let me explain a few things. You have two kind of, or three kind of parts of the memory or pieces of the brain, I would believe, that you need when you are studying. You have at the moment that something that you are currently using when you are listening to me, which is called a working memory. And this is temporary. Does not last long. Maybe after 5 minutes, you will start to forget what you learned from me. So this working memory is here in this exact area in your head. And then there is a middleman, which is called the memory index, which, I mean, sorry, I mean, it is a memory, yes, index, but we call it hippocampus. There is two pieces of those. They act as a middleman to teach and to store the information on a long term in your permanent memory. Your permanent memory is actually spread across your skull in this way, very, very thin layer. Okay, your permanent memory learn very slow. Okay, so it need a lot of repetition and teaching from the hippocampus. So the information in the hippocampus can last for quite a long time. That's why you see the people who cram their brain with knowledge before last night before the exam, they are able to actually success. I mean, have some success in their exams. Why? Because most of the information will be actually stored in the hippocampus itself, not in the permanent memory. But if you ask them about the same information 3 weeks to come, the information will be totally disappear from, as if they never studied. Okay, so cramming of information does not really help us. Okay, that is one thing. So we know there is a working memory, there is a permanent memory, there is a middleman who acts on organizing and orchestrating the storage of the information in the permanent memory in a slow motion, in a slow way. Who is that? It is the hippocampus, and we call that also memory index. Okay, so but why you need to do that? Okay, first of all, when you are studying, hippocampus tend to get saturated with the information that you're passing to it from the working memory. So every 10 to 15 minutes, especially this is in adults, of course, in children, it might be a bit lesser than that. You need to take 1 or 2 minutes of silence to allow the hippocampus to actually not get saturated. We know very well that if we have a cup of water like that, and we keep pouring water inside the cup, and we reach the top level here, the water will start to overflow. Once the water overflow, means that we are not going to make use of the water that drops out here. So we do not want this to happen to the hippocampus. So like what I'm saying, hippocampus need 1 or 2 minutes of silence every 10 to 15 minutes of your studying. So if you are studying, if you are listening to a teacher, typically teacher who know about that, they will give you 1 or 2 minutes of silence by opening the slides or checking their books or doing something or cleaning the board. So they give the students indirect rest time, 1 or 2 minutes, just to help the hippocampus to actually get rid of some of the information that they learned, and they pass it to the permanent memory. So at the end, did you understand anything from me so far?
Yes.
Okay, what did you understand, please?
I understood that our brains do require specific amounts of break time so that we can actually process any information that is being inputted into our brains.
Okay, excellent answer. You did not mention everything I talked about, but you mentioned the conclusion, which is, that's great. Okay, I see. I can guess that you are okay with mathematics, I believe. Is it?
Um, I'm not very sure because right now
Forget
I'm
about now.
doing
I'm talking about in the previous IGCSE. How was your mathematics?
um I was okay. I was in IGCSE for it. I qualified to be in IGCSE. I was not in extended. I was in there's extended and then there's the other one.
Okay. So,
And
uh-huh.
in my opinion, I don't know if it's a good representation of it because when I did my IGCSEs, it was during the peak of COVID. So when we got into the exams, it was very clear that most of the questions were the easiest questions from our learning experience. And I'm not sure if that
Oh,
was because of COVID or because when I look at previous years, the examination papers that they did, it seemed more
complex.
complex.
Okay. Well, that is
So I don't
you.
know if I,
Okay. No. It's, I mean, you are great. Your answers is great, Tahira. Your communication skills is amazing. That's great. Thanks for the good answer. I mean, you gave me a good, excellent answer, I believe. Thanks a lot. Okay, now let's continue. Are you able to recognize what you see on the screen here?
if I can recognize it.
Yes. Can you guess what is that?
I'm guessing that the blue part is the hippocampus.
Yes, correct. And the connection that is built here like this, I mean, this is pieces of information that your brain studied, okay?
Okay.
And information are connected uh, a lot to each other. And I mean, so you see the transformation from this picture to this picture, and there is a lot of connection that is being built, and all of this connection is tied to the memory index or to the hippocampus, like with what we said. But this kind of consolidation of information or connection that is happening, we call it consolidation of information. This happened over a long period of time. It happened sometimes in some students a few weeks. Sometimes it can take months, and it happens during sleep. So your sleep is very, very important, not only on the night before the exam, but on every night, because this is the time that the consolidation of information happens. Okay. So I also would like to tell you, if you are studying now computer science, let me just tell you that not because you are only studying computer science, you should only read about computer science. Any kind of knowledge that you study affect your brain ability to brainstorm or to solve problems or to find creative solutions for issues. So if you study about geography, history, read a little bit about politics, it will have indirect effect in strengthening the information and the connections inside your brain. And in research papers, they find out that this help your brain in general. But of course, if you go and search YouTube videos or TikTok and watch dancing videos, this does not contribute at all to your brain abilities and to your skills. So as long as you're feeding your brain with good knowledge, even if it is indirect to computer science, it will still benefit your overall general ability of brainstorming and finding solutions. So is that clear to you?
Yes.
Okay, that is good. So one last thing before we move on, and this information, you will need it in programming if you become a programmer in the future. I hope you become a successful one also. And you will need it in the exam, and you will need it when you are studying. So there is two modes that our brain work on. At the moment when you are listening to me, your brain is actually in the focused thinking mode. So you are listening, your brain is trying to capture as much information you are hearing, but there is another important mode that you are able to trigger if you know how to trigger it. It is called diffuse thinking mode. And this is very important in solving problems and finding solutions for problems or exercises that you face. So the diffuse thinking mode does not trigger unless your brain is relaxed. So you want to trigger it, think about nothing, close your eyes, and maybe just get a ball in your hand and keep pressing it. There is sometimes they sell soft balls that people are able to keep pressing so that you don't occupy your brain with any kind of thinking. Just totally relax. Don't think about solving a problem or anything. Just totally relax. When you do that, you triggered your brain to work in the diffuse thinking mode, which is the mode that actually help your brain internally to find solution for problems or you have, or to assist you later in solving problems. You sometimes when you're taking shower, or you just walking beside the sea, or just sitting on the beach thinking about nothing, totally nothing, sometimes idea rush to your brain, and these ideas might be solution for things that you are facing, or exercises that you see or deal with. Or sometimes you wake up from sleep and there is something that come during sleep about a problem that you was facing and you didn't know a solution for. So that is why why is this happening? Because your brain was in the diffuse thinking mode. So did you now know how can you trigger the diffuse thinking mode?
I understand it. I just have extreme difficulty actually practicing it.
Oh, so you know that before.
I did, yeah, but I'm known as someone who is very anxious.
Aha, okay. Okay. So this means that your brain never stops thinking. Right? Am I right?
Mm, yeah.
Okay, okay. I got that. Um, okay. It's something that I never hear about that before. So that's interesting. Okay, just so let me also tell you how can you use the diffuse thinking mode when you are in the exam. So I would say that I wouldn't say that this is abnormal. Um, I'm I'm teaching, and I'm still also studying how to deal with uh, people who have maybe some kind of learning disability. You don't seem to have a learning disability so far from what I see. You might have this.
The only issue is just my confidence. I lack confidence, so it makes it much more difficult
Okay.
because it makes me more anxious.
Okay. Okay. So okay, I mean, so far from what I see, of course, it is too early to judge you 100% and give you a pure, clear advice. From what I see, your brain is clear. You are able extract important information from a lot of from what is. I mean, if we talk a lot for half an hour, it seems that your brain have some ability to only just put your hand on that good information, and that is not. I mean, that is something that I rarely see in students, especially at your age. So that is not bad, Tahira. Your communication skills is not bad, but you also have to understand that.
The issue is that how can I say? This is the first time I've ever been alone.
Okay,
Most of the time, I'm used to being around people. So
okay,
I think being alone has stunted my ability a lot.
okay. So you are not alone. You are not alone, Tahira. I mean, every. I mean, I mean, at your age, I also traveled alone into different countries, and I stayed alone for some time. I understand that it makes you like not. I mean, not feeling balanced, and things are. I mean, especially Malaysia, because Malaysia is they have certain. I mean, there's certain things that in the culture that does not makes them mix around. They are a bit shy, and they prefer their own groups. They don't like to befriend
Yeah,
other
I've seen
people
that. I've
out.
recognized that.
Yes, I mean, so you will need to mix with people like you. So you need to find people like you and mix with them. You should not stay alone all the time. Um, Definitely, you will find people not necessarily from your country, but most probably from Africa. And then I believe they are also exposed to the same thing like you. So they will be happy to mingle and mix. Of course, you need to judge people. You don't rush to people openly. So you need to know if they are good or not, and you need to select. But they will be much better and to support you than the local people. The local people are enclosed among themselves, so um, they are not as much open as people in Europe or US. Oh no, it's slightly different. Okay, Malaysia in general is not bad in general. Okay, but they have certain things that among their culture that we are not able to change, and you will not be able to change. You just need to know how to overcome that. Okay, but at the end, from what I see so far, your communication skills is excellent, and I mean there is no reason that should uh, degrade your self confidence. It is the problem is this in the things around you, not in you. From what I see, I mean, uh, I can tell your communication skill is excellent and your thinking is clear. So it is not you; it is the problem of the people around you. So focus on that. It's not because I see something different, but that's really the honest opinion on you on this little amount of time. Definitely, I might have a different opinion in coming classes, and I will definitely
Yeah.
advise you. I mean, it doesn't mean that you will change 100% from what I'm seeing now. But what I want to say is that if I have a different advice, I will definitely tell you. But so far from what I see, you yourself does not need to improve something among yourself. Your communication is clear. You have a clear mind. You just need to focus on finding supporting groups to be to support you and to be with you, to face difficulties with you, and so you don't stay alone all the time. That's a crazy that will make you crazy if you stay a lot alone. That will make you crazy. So you need to mix with people. just make sure that you take care of your money. It means that I mean, yes, you mix with people, but it doesn't mean that you mix your money with them also. So you have to be careful from that.
Yeah.
And then yes, you have to choose who is good and who is bad. So let me also come again to the focused thinking mode so that we are able to progress also on the study side. I would say that if you are able to use this technique in the exam, that will help you. So I'm not sure if you study ever about processor in the computer. Did you know what does it mean a processor is? Do you know what is a
Like
processor?
the CPU?
CPU? Yes, yes, exactly. So it is the brain of the computer, right?
Yeah.
Okay, did you ever hear that there is something called dual processor?
I've heard of it, but I'm not sure.
Okay, so if we talk about processor in general, we assume that it's only one processor inside the computer. But if we say dual processor, it means that there is two pieces of brain that we put them inside the computer. And that accelerates the processing a bit, not a lot, but a bit. Okay, so it makes the computer perform tasks much faster or a bit faster, let's say like that. So why I'm saying why I'm comparing that to your brain, because you have the ability, I mean, the people who can follow this technique have the ability to make their brain work as if it is a dual processor, which means that there is two parts of the brain that is working on solving exercises or exam questions at the same time. But how can you trigger that? So if you have assume that your exam paper has 3 questions, and I would say that 2 of those are easy, and there is 1 difficult. So how can you recognize that? You can recognize that by reading the whole exam paper one shot before you start answering them. And then you mark the difficult question and you start solving the difficult question first. But definitely because it's difficult, you will stuck. You will get stumbled upon and then you will stuck and stop. Once you stop, don't waste your time thinking about anything. Just leave that exam question and jump to solve one of the easy exam questions. When you do that, you actually passed the difficult exam question to part of your brain that is responsible for the diffuse thinking. So how this actually can help. So while you are solving, using your focus mode, while you are solving the easy question, your other part of the brain is actually working on its own to find a solution for the difficult part. But of course, that this technique might not work all the time for you. It depends on your mode. It depends how you, if you are able to control your brain totally. If you slept well, if you studied well. So, but I personally have experienced that. Okay, and not only that, I also experienced it in when solving difficult programming questions or even projects. So I personally work as a programmer while I was lecturing and teaching computer science. So typically I spend long hours trying to solve difficult problems or tricks in software projects. Okay. Are you able to follow up with me?
Yes.
Okay. So the problem is I saw that it degrades my ability if I say that I am facing difficulty and I need to stop. So I take it upon my ego to say, no, I will not stop unless I fix a problem. But this is a big mistake, because when I'm doing so, I'm only using my focus mode. And that is, I mean, that is not capable all the time to fix a problem. So when I tried that every time I face a problem, I immediately stop. I no longer stop. I no longer take more than 30 minutes on solving a difficult problem. Once I stuck within 30 minutes, I have to immediately stop. I go do something else. Go walk to talk to other people, but preferably just think about nothing, sit, relax for maybe 10, 20 minutes, and then I give it another try. And you can keep repeatedly doing this for a number of times until you're able to find solution. But for me, it worked for me this way that sometimes from the first or maybe maximum second time, I was able to find solution for my problem. So that could have saved me tons of hours of working hours if I know this trick, because I did not use it. I did not make use of it. And it would have saved me a lot of time just to do that. So, first of all, did you understand anything from what I said? I have talked about two things: using diffuse thinking mode in solving programming exercises, and using also the diffuse thinking mode in exam questions or during the exam. Did you understand anything from me?
Yes, I did understand. Like I said, I
Know that
know
before.
this stuff.
Uh-huh.
I know this stuff, but it's just like
Hard
you,
to
I think I
apply.
have an ego.
Okay. So yeah, like but okay, but again, like I explained to you, I was having the ego, but because I never learned the technique. I mean, at my age, this technique was not popular. So that is, I'm talking about 15 years ago. So that was not
Yeah.
popular. Okay. Or it was unknown, and it was not common among even programmers. Okay. So at the moment, when I have this knowledge and I still write code, so I try to practice this as much as I can. So let me move to the next. I mean, so far, uh, I already give you, I believe, a very fast overview of the important things. But let me just try to go here. Okay, did you ever see a replet before? Did you ever deal with a replet before?
Mm, no, I don't think so.
So where do you write your Java?
Right now, we're using IntelliJ.
Uh, Intelligence, you mean?
IntelliJ, yeah.
Okay. Ah, Intelli. Ah, okay. Okay, okay, that's not bad. Typically, most of our my classes, I use Replit just because it's online and I'm able to share codes or with other students on that. But definitely, it doesn't matter which tool you use. It should be all.
Yeah, it's still the same.
Yeah, it's still the same. Exactly, exactly. So let me just try to share with you. So you didn't share so far any slides with me. So I will try to, I mean, I have a student who is actually using, so did you ever, I mean, this is your book that you are dealing with. This is the books that you're using. You're supposed to be. It's from Pearson. Is that your book?
Honestly, in the classes, I don't know if you had to work with the students from Taylor's University.
Yes, I taught a Taylor University student before, but it was a different programming language. Yes. Okay. So tell me what is.
Well, in Taylor's right now, a reason why I find it a bit difficult is because, especially for OOP, we're not really getting the chance to look at any outside books. Like we're not using any books. The lecturer is showing us basically just, I don't know if they're directly from Oracle. I'm not sure.
Okay, so but he's not using a slides. Do you have the teaching slides?
They're very big slides. So I if I send it to you, I can show you.
Okay,
Um, because
so
we're not using any books right now. We're just using
slides. I understand.
anything.
Yeah, So yeah. So typically from the syllabus that you sent to me, he's referring that his reference is this book, which is also I have other students who are using the books, but again, they don't really use the books. The book is a reference, but they teach or study even using the slides, which is enough. Okay. So okay. So to be able to teach you, let me try to understand from you.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Can I show you the slides?
Yes, why not? Can you share? Is it possible to share?
Yes. Yes. So these are they're very big.
But wait,
These are the slides.
you have to give maybe give it 20 seconds maybe. Sometimes when you first share something, it takes a few seconds to be able to appear in front of me.
Okay.
So okay, let me try to understand. Did you write any code before? Are you where is exactly your biggest issue in Java until I'm able to see the screen?
I've never worked with Java.
Did you write any Python code before?
No, before I wanted to focus more on web rather than software.
Okay.
So I was more focused on HTML, JavaScript,
Okay.
PHP. I was more focused in those languages.
So
So
did
I've
you
never
write
done
on PHP? Did you write something on PHP? Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see your screen now. Okay. So are you able to go slightly? Yeah, go down a bit. Okay. Yeah, go down more. Let me
This is just
see.
for the
Yeah,
class.
okay. Okay, programmers. Okay. Okay. So do you know the difference between a normal high-level language and a machine code? Do you know what a machine code is?
I just started understanding recently.
So okay. Do you want me to start explaining from here? Does this make sense to you?
If you can, yes, I don't mind.
Okay. So but if there is something that you already understood, then I would say let me move to something that you really did not know yet or want to know about. So, but if you want me to start from here, that's totally fine. So this is your choice. I give you the choice from where I can start, even though I didn't see the slides before, but I think syllabuses are very close to each other. So you can move the slides to where you would like me to explain. Is that the place I would like I should explain?
I'll try and I think from the beginning of like Java,
okay,
like this,
okay,
like compiling. I've never had to do it, so I don't really understand.
No problem. Okay, so just to let you know that we have different programming language. Like we have PHP. We don't consider HTML as a programming language. It is a language that represent the structure of the page, of the web page. So I consider PHP as a programming language, and I consider Java and possibly JavaScript as a programming language. So all this, what I mentioned, it is high-level languages, which means that this is languages that is more understandable by the human because it use English-like characters that human can understand, but it is not understood by the machine. So the machine, which is the electronic circuits inside the computer, it's only electronic circuits, and electronic circuits can only understand a switch that is on or a switch that is off. So electronic circuits from inside, it's either switched on or off. So we can say, let me try to put here. So we can say in short that let me also try to give me a second. I need to put that on top. Yeah. So we can say that inside the machine, okay, we have things that is only understood by the machine, which is ones and zeros. So one corresponds to a switch that is on, and zero corresponds to a switch that is off. So this is what we can say that the machine or the electronic circuits or the computer from inside can understand. But we as a human find difficulty in understanding the ones and zeros. We can understand anything that it is like alphabets. Like if I say to you, for example, if age is bigger than 20, then we do something. So if I say like that, this might be clear to you and maybe understandable to you even without you having any programming knowledge. But if I pass you the same equivalent of this in ones and zeros, you will face difficulty in understanding. You do not know what is this ones and zeros correspond to. So this is in short. So now I define to you what is a machine code, what is a high-level language. So all of the high-level language are close to each other. The PHP, the JavaScript, the Java are very close to each other. There is a syntax differences between them, but the concept, if you find if statements in PHP, JavaScript, and Java, they will be similar to each other. The way that we write them might be slightly different, but the concept is the same. If you understand if statement in PHP, you will understand it in Java. Okay, that is one thing. But now our issue is that how can we make the code that we write understood by the machine language or by the electronic circuits inside the computer? So at the end of the day, this is understood by us. If we pass it to the CPU, he would not understand a single thing from it. So what can we do? We need to use translators to translate. So these translators take a high-level language and translate it to a machine code. Why? Because machines or CPU or the computer from inside, the electronic circuits inside the computer can only understand ones and zeros. We do not have to worry about translators. When you're using an IDE like Intelli, so he have a translator inside it. He do the job of the translation. There is many types of translators. It based on the programming language. We have interpreters and we have compilers. So interpreters work with certain languages like Python. And we might find ourselves using, how to say, I would say a combination of compiling and interpreting with Java. Java is slightly complex than other languages. Java is a portable programming language. So if you design a program that is able to run on Windows, you are able to take the same program and you can run it on other operating systems like Linux or like Mac OS. So, and that is because of things that we will explain later. But in short, that the big difference, so at the end, we can say translators have two types, interpreting or interpreters and compilers. There is a difference on the way how these two translators work. Interpreters tend to need always the source code to be able to do that translation or to run the program that you have. And there is also something else, which means that these interpreters take line by line. So if I say, let me put it just simple things, age equal 10, for example. So this is a line. And if I say maybe string s is equal x like that, and if I forgot to put the semicolon here, so if you have, this is a Java code, and definitely if you would like to run it, you have to use a compiler. And if it see that there is a semicolon missed on the second line, it will not run anything at all. It will stop and it will start sharing the error with you. So the way that the compiler works is that it checks all the errors in the code before it runs a single line. Interpreters, on the opposite, does not work like that. Interpreters, especially used in like Python, if you make a mistake on line number 10, it means that if I have 9 lines of code and I have the issue on line 9, so there is an error here. So what will happen is that 8 lines of code will run and produce output without a single issue. And only when we come to the error on line number 9, then we will show the error and we'll stop. And I mean, the IDE or the interpreter will show you an error on the screen. But in Java and in compiler, the things are different. They look into the whole code first, make sure that there is no even a single error before they start running anything. So this is a big difference between interpreters and compilers. There is other differences. But maybe I don't want to go into too much details, but I would like first to know, what did you understand from me so far?
From everything that you've said?
No, I mean, yeah, just now. Tell me from what you understood. I mean, sorry, I supposed to, I mean, in the normal conditions, I am supposed to be every single piece of information that I explain, I supposed to ask you. But sorry, I apologize. I went on explaining.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I understood it.
Okay, so can you tell me what you understand? Because when you tell me what you understood, I'm able to know if you missed something. I'm able to also judge how your brain catches the information. So it doesn't, I mean, you do not worry at all about making mistakes. At the end of the day, just let me tell you this. At the end of the day, I might not see you at all in life. And that's one thing. And it is better to appear foolish in front of me than to appear foolish in front of other people. So ask me all the foolish questions that you want, and that will be totally fine. Okay? Because at the end of the day, I'm not going to see you again. And I mean, it is, we are working online, and just after this course, maybe I will never see you again. So you continue your life and facing other people, and nobody know about anything that we talk about in the class. So ask me whatever foolish question and give me your talk. I want you to talk. The more you talk, the way I'm able to tailor my teaching technique to fit you, to fit how you think, how your brain works. So now I'm listening to you.
Okay. So I've understood that in order to communicate with the computer, we cannot use, in my notes, I changed high-level language to human language,
Okay,
human
correct.
level
Yes.
language.
Yes.
And in brackets, I put it in English. And I understand that the computer will not understand this directly. They understand binary, ones and zeros,
Excellent.
one being on and zero being off.
Excellent.
And you need a program to be able to change the human level language into the computer language or the machine language.
We need to
translate. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Now continue. I'm listening.
And there are two types, interpreter and compiler.
Excellent.
The interpreter leads source codes to run, and they run all the source codes regardless of the errors. First, they run the source code first, then they check for error, and then a compiler checks for errors first, then runs the code.
Okay. Did you, I mean, there is a slight, I mean, your understanding is 90% correct. Did you ever know what is
Okay.
what is an exe? Do you have Windows running or you have a Mac OS?
Windows.
Okay. So did you ever see, do you know what is an exe file?
An executable file.
Yes. Do you know what is that? If I mean, do you know what we use the exe file for?
To most of the time, I know to install
Okay.
programs with.
Yes. So, okay. What about the zoom? When you click on the zoom icon, it actually go and open a file, an exe file that is called zoom.exe. Does this, I mean, if you look also on your computer, if you have a Chrome, which is this browser, internet browser, most probably you find an icon that call that chrome.exe file. So exe files is executable file that open programs for us. Okay, is that clear?
Okay.
So if you would like to run, okay, compilers produce exe files. Interpreters does not produce exe files. So if you compile a program that you write in Java and it produces an exe file, you do not need the Java compiler anymore. You will have an exe file that you can click on it and open it without the need of the Java compiler anymore. Interpreter, on the other hand, always need the source code. So the code that you wrote for your program, you will always need it when you are using interpreter. So I have a
Is it
separate.
like, sorry, is it like PHP? Because like PHP, to be able to run it, we still need to keep the file. It's like that?
Yes, yes, you can say like that. But even though there is a slight difference with the PHP, yes, but I can say for the ease of explanation, yes. But you have to also understand
Okay.
that the PHP is a server-side language, which means that it is executed on the server. So, but this
Okay.
is a different story. But yes, I can say, yes, your note is correct, which also tell me that you are able to, your brain are able to relate information in a very good way. That is, I mean, if I compare you to other students, you are 19 years old, are you?
No, I'm turning 21.
Okay, so this is your, oh, but this is your first year in university, right?
I took a I took a year off school and I was
Okay.
working to save up.
Okay, okay, no problem. It's okay. So, no problem. It's okay. I mean, this does not. But I'm just trying to judge your age compared to my other students. But
Okay.
but again, I mean, you are above the average, so that is okay. That's good. I mean,
Thank
not
you.
good at all. I mean, not bad at all. That's good. That's really good. So, like I told you, I have seen very smart people, and I have seen a lot of slow learners. So yeah, you are okay. So can you move to the next slide? Okay, so this slide actually somehow show us what we explained in the previous slide. So at the end, if you go down a bit, because I can't really see the draw. Yes, exactly. Yes, that's enough. So as we said, interpreter is a kind of translator, and it take a human readable machine language code, which is a high level language code, and it translated to something that the computer can really understand from inside, which is a machine code. And you also have to understand one thing. If you write a line of code, do you see this line of code? It's telling area equal 5 multiplied by 5 multiplied by this. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is trying to calculate the area using this formula. Do you understand this?
Yes.
Okay. So we can see that the R, the radius, is 5. This line of code, a single line of code from high-level language, might get translated into few lines of code from machine instructions. So we do line by line translation. So we take this line, we translate it into a few lines of machine code. Because machine code is simple. A high-level language allow us to perform complex calculation on the same line. Like what you are doing here, this is a kind of complex, a lot of multiplication we are able to do. And then after we do the multiplication, we take the result from this multiplication and we save it inside a variable that is called area. Do you know what the variable is?
Sorry?
Do you know what a variable is? I mean, sorry, you cannot really hear me very well, right?
Sometimes I think you go back and forth from the mic. So sometimes I
Oh,
can hear you fast, I can hear you
oh,
close.
okay. Sorry. Yeah, I will try to
But
fix that.
most of it I can hear. Most of it I can hear.
Okay. So do you know what is a variable is?
A variable, I don't know the specific answer, but I know that a variable is like a placeholder that can hold any value, like it's empty, and you can give it a value.
Do you know what is a RAM is?
Random access memory.
Do you know what we use the RAM for?
Um, Refresh it for me, please.
Okay.
Refresh my memory.
Okay. Do you know what is a I mean, of course, I'm not asking to test, but certain questions that I will ask you during the class is to stress your brain, not to stress you personally. When we are stressing
Okay.
your brain, do not ever say no to me. Just try to pressure your brain to get answers. That stressing is telling the brain that this information that you're trying to retrieve is actually important to you, which means that the brain will start to build strong connections around the information that you are trying to retrieve. Okay, so that is good for you on the long term. So, okay, this is HDD. Did you ever know what I mean HDD? I didn't hear you. I mean, you don't have.
I've heard of it, but
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
remember.
Okay, no problem. So, HDD is an example of a secondary storage, and this is a permanent storage that we are able to store all the information that we have on our computer: documents, pictures, videos, programs, operating system, Windows, and all of that is stored on the hard disk. And typically, if we have an old computer, we will have mechanical paths, and I am able to show you pictures later, but that's not our problem at the moment. So hard disk is permanent storage. It can keep the information inside it, even if we disconnect the electricity, but it is very slow. And then we have something called primary storage, and one of those is the RAM. There is another type other than the RAM, but at the moment, our focus is on the RAM. The RAM is a place where the CPU are able to look for information. Any Java code that you write will reside inside the RAM. So when it is stored in the RAM, your Java code, the CPU will take one instruction at a time and try to execute it inside the CPU. And of course, the translation happen even before the CPU start to do this execution. Okay, but at the end of the day, everything that is CPU need to look at or to fetch or to execute must be in the RAM. It cannot be on the hard disk. So any programs that you would like to open, like the Zoom, for example, when you click on the icon, the operating system do something under the hood. It take the operating system from the hard disk and it load it inside the RAM. If you click on the Zoom, it take a few seconds, depending on how fast is your computer, and you will find that you are copying part of the Zoom from the hard disk into the RAM. Okay, so when we do that, then we are able to see the output of the Zoom or to see the Zoom screens on our computer monitor or screen. Okay, so okay, everything we write here, every variable we create is that we reserve a place in the memory, and we say here this is area. So we reserve the place, and how big is the place? It is depending on a few things that we will tell later, but it is something related to data type. So if we say that this area is of a data type that's called double, we will talk about that later when the slide comes, but just let me, if you understand 50% of this part, that is totally okay, because we will need to go into data types later, not on these slides. So at the moment, when you write an area and you give it a calculation, so it reserves a place in the memory for it. And we said that the place, how big is the place? It depends on the data type. And this area will carry the result of this calculation. So let me assume it's 10.2, for example. So whenever I would like to get the content of area, I will tell it, okay, so I don't need to know how much is inside the area that is stored in the memory. I only need to know that the values that I want is inside a variable called area. So whenever I want to know the values, I will tell him, tell me what is inside area. And there is a techniques to say this. At the end of the day, when you do interpreting, this is complex, and it will get translated to at least 3 or 4 lines of machine code. So at the end, they make high-level language advanced so that we spend less amount of time to write a program. They want to save our time, so they allow us to write complex expression just on one line. But in reality, when this got translated to machine code, this can never run on cannot be translated to one-to-one machine code. It have to be 3 or 4 lines, and I'm able to explain that, but I don't see a reason as long as it's not mentioned in the syllabus. Did you understand me so far?
Yes.
Okay, now tell me, what did you understood, and what is the question that you have here?
What I understood about variables or everything?
Everything. It is a way when you repeat the information, believe me, it benefits your brain and your ability to make connections in the brain for that. So yeah, I'm listening.
Okay, so we as the user, the programmer, we will type in the code. And to make it easier for us, we use variables, and the variables reserves a spot in the memory for whenever we need to find the answer to the specific thing we're looking for. And each time we need it, the CPU will look for it inside the memory where all the variables are stored.
Mm-hmm.
And high-level language makes it less time consuming and less complex rather than if we were writing directly into machine code, because everything that we are writing in the high level language is represented by more lines of code than what we are writing in high level language.
Okay, not bad at all. That is not bad at all. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. We can build on that knowledge. So, Tahira, I'm just telling you that you are one of the rare students that I spend in the demo class more than 40 minutes. Typically, it is only 40 minutes. But since I sensed that you need help, so yeah, I think we go a little bit far than usual, but it's okay. So Tahira, uh, let me know if everything went fine in the class and if you would like to continue. Okay. So by now, I think we should end our demo class. But
Yeah.
of course, to explain to you everything, I will still need your slides. So I would say you can upload them to a Google Drive. Do you have any Google Drive that you are able to upload the files to?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So I will need to look at them. I mean, just to be as fast as efficient as I should be with other students, because I need to look at the slides and decide where is important and where is not, and so that we can move a little bit faster. So when is your exam date
Okay.
exactly?
Sorry?
When is your exam date?
For my midterm
Yes,
or exam?
yes,
Midterm,
yes.
it's this coming Tuesday, so the 17th, I believe.
Wow, after 5 days. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so and how many chapters you need to cover?
I'm not even sure because the practice question that I sent to you
Mm-hmm.
in WhatsApp is basically the example that we've been given on which we will be doing in that midterm. So that the only PDF that I gave you is somewhat similar to what we're supposed to be doing. It's going to be practical and theory at the same time.
Okay, so do you have other exercises? Because okay, um, let me think of a technique. Do you have other exercises that?
Yes, I do.
So you need to give me all the exercises that you have, because I need to think. Is it practical that I go through all the slides now? I mean, definitely we have to go all through all the slides, but if the exam is after 3 or 4 days, I mean, we need to make you pass, or at least try to pass
Yes.
the exam. So that will not
And
work.
I understand the honestly for me, yes, it took me a long time to accept that I need help from somebody, but I've
You are
realized
not the
that
only one. Yeah, many times people wait until yeah. I mean, yes, it's understood. You're not the only one. Believe me, I am a teacher and I know. So you're not the only one.
yeah,
So it's okay.
but I know from my capabilities, from how I've been trying to study, but it's just that it's overwhelming, that I know that I learn more from practical exercises than
From
theoretical, you can
theoretical.
say.
Okay. So and that is
So
typically
I'm,
what we do in
yeah.
the classes. I mean, typically suppose we supposed to make you write on your own, because I know very well by many examples with students that they will never understand if I start. I mean, after the third example that I give and they never write a single line of code, they will never remember, and they will never they will start to become blur already. So that is totally clear. So yes, we need to write codes, but yeah. So let me know if you would like to continue, and let me know the times available to you in the next coming days until your exam, so I can try to arrange things for you, and we see how we can do it. So do you?
And I
Mhm.
would like to continue, yes.
Okay, but I need the exercises, I need the slides,
Yes.
and so and also let me try to be honest with you, and you try to be honest also on your side.
Okay.
Typically, in a short notice, my rate will be slightly higher, but I don't want to burden you. So tell me,
Okay.
what is your acceptable range? Like you can see the range on my profile. Typically, it starts from 85 until, of course, above a little bit. The range for my typical Malaysian students start from 85 until 95. So I'm just trying to be open with you. Of course, students in overseas, like if they are even in Nigeria, Mozambique, or even South Africa, they pay slightly higher because they have to pay in USD, and they pay into accounts that is outside Malaysia. So there is transfer charges and so on. So this is slightly higher. But now you are inside, so you have accounts here in Malaysia, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, that's good. So tell me, what is the rate that is comfortable to you? Are you able to? Is it 85 is comfortable to you?
85, I'm okay with anything between 85 to, for the next 3 days, I can say I'm fine with anything between 85 to 97 ringgit per day, for per hour for the next three
Okay,
days.
okay. So
Like the highest I can go is 97.
so okay. Let me put it this way. Um, I will only charge you maybe 87, but on only one request. So if you are satisfied with my service or my explanation, please put a good review on Teacher On after you finish. So I will not charge you.
Today or
No,
tomorrow?
not necessary
Like
today.
today?
No, not necessary today. No, not necessary today. So
Okay.
I will leave you maybe after you finish your exam, or it's totally up to you. But you make it a promise, and then I will trust your promise.
You don't have to worry because I was going to do it anyway. For the first time for a while, I've actually learned a lot of stuff. So I was going to do that anyway. You don't have to worry.
Okay. So yeah, and yeah, but the deal is a deal. So it means that I will still give you 87, even if you said that you will.
Yes.
Yeah. So that is totally fine. So you just need to let me know the times that you are free from tomorrow, and how many hours you would like to take every day until we reach um, the day of the exam. Okay.
Okay.
So you can write to
Okay.
me, and then from there we can proceed. Okay.
All right. Thank you
Oh,
very much.
okay. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.